The night on Lyra 9 was alive in ways Alex had never imagined. The floating crystals shimmered faintly under the stars, reflecting their pale light onto the mossy ground. Alex and Kayla moved slowly through the valley, careful not to disturb the strange ecosystem, but he could feel the connection between them strengthening. Every thought he sent her reached her instantly, and every emotion she allowed to touch him seemed to echo in his own mind. He had spent hours observing her, learning how her telepathic sense worked. It was subtle but precise. She did not hear all his thoughts, only those that were focused and intentional. Random wandering thoughts seemed to bounce off her mind, but when he concentrated, they reached her like a clear voice across space. It was incredible, unlike anything humanity had encountered. Kyla walked beside him, glancing at the floating crystals with curiosity. You think of me even when you are silent," she said softly in his mind. Alex nodded. "I can't help it. I want to understand you, your world, everything about you." Her eyes widened at the honesty of his words. For a moment, the weight of fear that had lingered in her gaze vanished, replaced by curiosity and something else. Something gentle, almost like trust. Suddenly, a rustling in the moss caught Alex's attention. He froze, and the connection with Kayla flared sharply, alerting him to her reaction. There was another presence nearby. Not hostile, but intelligent. Alex signaled to the crew to stay back, and they crouched behind a large crystal formation. A small group of Lyra 9's native creatures emerged from the trees. They were six-legged, sleek, and covered with fine, reflective scales. At first, they seemed aggressive, but Kayla's thoughts calmed them. She raised her hand slightly, and Alex felt the wave of reassurance she sent. The creatures paused, sniffed the air, then retreated into the forest. Alex looked at Kayla, amazed. "You can influence them. With your thoughts?" She nodded, her eyes glimmering. "Not with force. Only with what I feel. They respond to emotion, not commands." Alex thought about it. Humanity had relied on tools and technology for centuries. Yet here was a being whose mind alone could create harmony. It was a lesson in patience, understanding, and empathy. He felt humbled. As they continued walking, Kayla began to share images from her world. He saw towering crystal cities carved into mountains, glowing rivers that moved like liquid light, and forests filled with creatures that shimmered like the moss under their feet. It was beautiful, unlike anything humans had known. Alex realized that this was more than exploration. It was a bridge between species. Humanity had always relied on technology and strategy, but Kayla's world demonstrated that connection, empathy, and thought could be equally powerful. Hours passed, and the connection between Alex and Kayla deepened. He found he could sense her emotions even before she projected them. When she felt fear, he instinctively calmed her with thoughts of safety. When she felt joy, he shared in it, and the echo of her happiness strengthened his own sense of wonder. Then, the danger arrived. A sudden tremor shook the ground, and the floating crystals above them tilted sharply. From the shadows of the forest, a group of alien beings emerged. They were taller and more imposing than Kayla, with sharp features and eyes that glowed faintly red. Alex sensed their thoughts immediately: hostility, suspicion, and an intent to capture Kayla. Kayla gasped sharply. Her fear was almost overwhelming in his mind. Alex realized that he had to act quickly. Humanity's ingenuity, courage, and calm under pressure had to guide him. He focused, imagining a strategy, projecting thoughts of misdirection and movement. Kayla mirrored him, her mind amplifying his ideas. Together, they created a plan. Alex led the group through a narrow canyon, where the pursuing aliens could not easily follow. Kayla projected thoughts that manipulated the predator's attention, creating illusions of movement that confused them. It was a coordinated effort of mind and action, blending human strategy with alien intuition. The chase continued for hours, but Alex and Kayla remained one step ahead. Each time the aliens closed in, Kayla sensed his thoughts and adjusted their path. Humanity had always been known for its adaptability and resilience, and Alex realized that this partnership exemplified those traits perfectly. Eventually, they reached a large crystal field. Alex had noticed the formations were suspended by electromagnetic energy, and he used his understanding of physics to project controlled vibrations, causing the crystals to shift and create barriers between them and the pursuing aliens. Kayla amplified the effect with her mental presence, making it appear even more formidable. The rival aliens hesitated, their strategy faltering against the combined intelligence of human and telepathic alien. Seeing their confusion, Alex pressed forward with Kayla guiding him. Within moments, the aliens retreated into the forest, unsure how to counter the bond between the two beings. When the danger had passed, Alex slumped against a crystal, breathing heavily. Kayla approached, her expression a mixture of awe and relief. You saved us," she said in his mind, though her lips had not moved. Alex shook his head. "We saved each other. I couldn't have done it without you." For a long moment they simply stood together, connected in ways neither had fully understood. The stars above Lyra 9 shone brightly, and the valley seemed to breathe around them, acknowledging the partnership that had formed. As night deepened, Alex realized something profound. Humanity's strength was not just in weapons, technology, or strategy. It was in the mind, the ability to think, to empathize, to adapt, and to form connections. Here on this distant planet, that strength had created a bond that transcended species. Kayla led Alex to a small pool fed by glowing streams. The water was clear, reflecting the stars above. "This is my sanctuary," she said softly. Through their connection, he felt the peace she drew from it. Alex understood that even in a world filled with wonder and danger, finding balance and calm was essential. He spent the next hours learning from her. She showed him how to sense the life around him, how to feel without overwhelming, and how to communicate without words. Alex shared his knowledge of human ingenuity, survival skills, and strategy, and she absorbed it with fascination. It was a perfect exchange, a mutual teaching and learning. Days passed and their connection became stronger. Kayla no longer gasped in surprise at his thoughts. Instead, she seemed to anticipate them. Alex realized that the bond was no longer one-sided. Together, they could navigate the planet, face dangers, and understand each other in ways that words alone could never achieve. Then came the moment that truly tested their partnership. A massive storm rolled over the valley, with winds strong enough to tear through the floating crystals. Alex and Kayla had to find shelter quickly. He guided her to a cave system, and as the storm raged outside, he projected calm thoughts, helping her remain steady. Kayla mirrored him, amplifying the effect and creating a cocoon of mental peace amidst the chaos. In the quiet of the cave, Alex realized the depth of their connection. He could feel her curiosity, her awe, her trust, and something deeper, something akin to friendship and mutual respect. Kayla felt the same toward him. They were partners in every sense, a testament to what humanity could achieve when it combined courage, empathy, and ingenuity. When the storm passed, the world outside was transformed. The moss glowed brighter, the crystals reflected sunlight in new patterns, and the air felt fresher, as if the planet itself was responding to the bond between the two beings. Alex looked at Kayla and smiled. "We've survived together, learned together, and somehow grown together." Kayla returned the smile through their connection. "Yes, together." They spent the following days exploring the valley, mapping the landscape, and learning from each other. Alex discovered plants that responded to thought, rivers that seemed to carry memories in their flow, and creatures that communicated through pulses of energy. Kayla learned about human culture, courage, and resilience, and marveled at the ingenuity that allowed a species to survive across countless worlds. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the horizon, Alex felt a warmth in his mind that he had not felt before. Kayla's presence was constant, a comfort, a challenge, and a reminder of the limitless possibilities that lay before them. He knew that humanity's reach was not only physical but mental, capable of bridging worlds and minds. Kayla looked at him, her golden eyes reflecting the moon's. She gasped softly, but it was no longer in surprise. It was recognition, understanding, and perhaps even admiration. Alex realized that this bond, formed on a distant planet under strange stars, was a turning point not just for him and Kayla, but for the relationship between humans and alien species across the galaxy. As they prepared to return to the landing site, Alex felt a sense of purpose. Humanity had survived countless challenges, adapted to hostile environments, and thrived in ways that were once unimaginable. Now on Lyra 9, he had seen what human curiosity, empathy, and courage could accomplish when combined with trust and understanding. Kayla stepped beside him, her thoughts calm and steady. Alex smiled and projected a simple thought. Together we can face anything. Her mind responded instantly. Together. And in that moment, Alex knew that their story was just beginning. The bond between human and telepathic alien, born from curiosity, trust, and mutual respect, would lead to discoveries. Alex Reed had always known life on Epsilon 9 would be quiet. The remote research outpost he commanded sat on the edge of a jagged mountain range, where red rocks glimmered in the dim alien sun, and strange plants with translucent leaves swayed as if breathing. Most days were spent alone, monitoring the planet's shifting weather patterns, scanning for anomalies, and keeping the human colonists' equipment functioning. It was lonely work, but Alex didn't mind. He liked the silence, the clarity it brought, until the night she arrived. He had just finished reviewing sensor data when the outpost's motion detectors tripped. At first, he thought it was the wind or one of the native animals brushing past the equipment. But then, the readings grew more intense, pinpointing movement directly outside his quarters. Alex frowned, standing and stretching. No one should be out there, he muttered to himself. He grabbed the small energy rifle hanging by the doorway, not because he expected trouble, but because protocol demanded caution. When he opened the reinforced door, he froze. Standing in the doorway was a young alien woman. She had a lithe frame, striking features, and hair that shimmered with shades of silver and violet, flowing like liquid metal in the wind. She didn't wear anything, but it was not meant to shock. It was simply her culture, a society that saw nudity as normal, natural, and symbolic of confidence. What caught Alex off guard was her expression. She grinned boldly, unafraid, almost teasing, as if she had been waiting just for him. "Well, say something," she said in a melodic tone, her voice echoing with confidence. Alex's translator flickered to life, rendering her words into English. He blinked, trying to process the scene. Hello?" He finally managed, his mind racing. I wasn't expecting visitors." She tilted her head, studying him carefully. "Of course not. You're human. You always expect the normal, but normal is boring, isn't it?" Alex lowered his weapon slightly, curiosity replacing his initial tension. Something about her made him pause. Her confidence, her grace, her complete disregard for human social norms. She wasn't hostile. She wasn't demanding. She simply existed, and her presence carried a quiet challenge. "Why are you here?" Alex asked cautiously. She smiled wider, stepping closer, the alien air around her shimmering faintly as though the planet itself acknowledged her presence. "I came for you," she said. "Your kind is interesting. You think fast. You survive where others fail. I wanted to see if you truly are as remarkable as your stories suggest." Alex frowned, trying to make sense of her words. "Stories?" "Yes," she replied, voice playful but serious. "Your species has reached beyond its world. You explore, you adapt. But I wondered, would one human stand out? Would one human act with courage, creativity, and intelligence where others might falter?" The words hung in the air. Alex felt a spark of excitement. This was not a random encounter. This was a test, though of what he could not yet tell. I'm not sure what you expect me to do," he admitted, keeping his tone calm. "That's the point," she said simply. "Actions reveal more than words. Come with me, and you will see." Before Alex could respond, she stepped aside, motioning toward the cliffside beyond the outpost. Hesitation gripped him. The planet was known for sudden storms and dangerous wildlife. Venturing out without knowing her intentions was risky, yet something in her gaze told him she was not lying, and curiosity pushed him forward. He grabbed a light pack, tossing in basic supplies and tools, and followed her through the narrow passage outside. The night sky stretched above them, dotted with 2 moons and countless stars. The air was cooler than inside the outpost, carrying the faint scent of alien flora and minerals. As they walked, Alex studied her. Her skin seemed almost translucent under the moon's glow, showing faint lines that resembled intricate tattoos, but were actually part of her species' natural patterning. Her eyes, large and reflective, shifted colors as she moved, a visual language he could not decode but found mesmerizing. She walked without concern for the jagged rocks beneath her feet, gliding with the grace of someone born in harmony with this environment. "You humans are strange," she said suddenly. "You rely on machines so much. You forget your own senses. You fear what you do not understand. Yet somehow you survive." "Why?" Alex thought for a moment. "We survive because we adapt. We observe, we learn, and we push forward even when it's dangerous. Fear can guide you, but it can't stop you. If you stop moving because of fear, you die. She nodded slowly, her smile turning thoughtful. Impressive. Most of my people would freeze in your place. You may be the one I seek. They climbed higher into the cliffs, and the landscape changed. Massive crystalline structures jutted from the ground, refracting moonlight into dazzling patterns. Streams of luminescent water flowed along jagged paths, creating soft glowing rivers that disappeared into the darkness below. The beauty was mesmerizing, but the terrain was treacherous. Alex had to carefully navigate, testing each step. Suddenly, a shadow darted from the rocks, a native predator, roughly the size of a human but covered in sleek scales and glowing faintly red. It hissed, muscles coiling for attack. Lyra moved instantly, raising a small device that emitted a high-frequency pulse. The creature shrieked and retreated, clearly disturbed but unharmed. Alex exhaled sharply. You can handle that with just a pulse? She laughed softly. You humans rely on weapons. We rely on understanding. Observe the world, and it bends to you. As they moved further, Alex began noticing subtle details. A pattern to the crystals, faint inscriptions etched in the cliff faces, a rhythm in the streams of water. Lyra stopped at a massive crystalline archway, placing her hand against its surface. The inscriptions glowed faintly, resonating with her touch. This is it, she said. The place where actions reveal truth. Here I will know if you are exceptional. Alex studied the structure, intrigued. What do I need to do? Nothing yet, she replied. Watch, listen, and act when the moment comes. Do not rely on tools alone. Use your mind, your senses, your courage. Only then will you succeed. The archway began to shift, opening into a tunnel carved inside the largest crystal. It was not natural. The structure had been made by an ancient alien civilization, designed to test intelligence and instinct. As Alex stepped inside, he felt the air change, cooler, heavier, carrying a faint hum. His translator picked up subtle vibrations, translating them into soft guidance. Lyra walked beside him silently, watching, studying, and occasionally giving small hints in her melodic voice. The walls pulsed faintly as they moved, forming patterns that Alex had to interpret. A wrong move could collapse sections of the tunnel, and he felt the pressure of responsibility weigh on him. Hours seemed to pass as Alex solved mechanical puzzles, guided by logic and intuition. He deciphered alien symbols, manipulated pressure plates to open doors, and balanced on narrow ledges over deep chasms. At each step, Lyra observed, her expression one of quiet approval. Finally, they reached a vast chamber. A crystalline pedestal hovered in the center, radiating soft energy. Alex approached cautiously. Symbols floated in the air, forming sequences he had to decode. He realized that this test wasn't about strength, it was about perception, morality, and creativity. He could take shortcuts, but the true solution required understanding the intent behind the design. Minutes passed as he worked, his mind analyzing, hypothesizing, and testing possibilities. Then, with a careful adjustment, the final sequence aligned. The pedestal emitted a low hum, and a beam of light shot upward, casting the entire chamber in brilliance. Lyra's eyes widened, and she stepped closer, her expression a mixture of admiration and delight. You did it, she said softly. No human or alien has ever solved this on the first attempt. You have courage, intellect, and insight. You are exceptional. Alex lowered his gaze, a mixture of pride and humility washing over him. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, I just tried to think. That is why you succeeded, she said. Thinking, observing, and acting with respect for life. These are qualities my people admire, even if we rarely see them in practice. The night outside the chamber was calm, the moons reflecting off the crystalline landscape. Alex felt a sense of accomplishment, but also something more. A connection to this alien being who had challenged him, tested him, and shown him the extraordinary beauty of her world. Lyra smiled, stepping closer, but keeping a respectful distance. You have passed the first test. This world, its secrets, and perhaps even more await you. But remember, courage is only the beginning. Adaptation and empathy will take you further than strength ever could. Alex nodded. I'm ready. Whatever comes next, I won't back down. She grinned, the playful glint returning to her eyes. Good, I hoped you would say that. Come dawn, the real challenge begins. But for tonight, rest. Even heroes need rest. As Alex looked out through the crystalline archway at the alien sky, He realized that life on Epsilon 9 would never be the same again. This encounter, unexpected and bewildering, had already changed him. He had faced the unknown, and for the first time, he felt the thrill of discovering not just alien worlds, but the extraordinary capabilities of his own kind. And as the twin moons rose higher, casting silver light over the landscape, Alex knew that whatever lay ahead, he would face it, not as a lone human among aliens, but as a representative of his species, ready to prove humanity's ingenuity